Okay, just a quick update on the general market right now. The Dow Jones Industrial Average right here is still trending downwards at a opening wedge pattern. The next point of resistance is going to be around here, or even here, if you will. So if it does break down, it's going to be 19,765 or 19,719. But what I'm hoping for it to do is to go back up here, find this trend line, and bust through it to get some momentum trades going in there. So next one is going to be SP 500, and I'm only showing you all this because these are going to be the top 500 stocks. They're the market movers. So if this is doing good, then the general market is going to do good. So you can set your buy signals based on this just to get a general assessment of what the overall market is doing. So let's go over here, and actually I think I've got my trend lines on the daily. Yeah, so still trending in a wedge pattern. Oh, come on, Fidelity. God. Okay, still trending sort of upwards, but it's hitting that ceiling right here, that resistance, and if it does manage to go through that, then we'll be in good shape for some buy signals here and there, especially if the volume keeps up. Okay, quick analysis on AMD. First of all, if you keep up with what I'm saying, this is why I tell you to not trade for the first 30 minutes, because it's called FOMO, fear of missing out. So when you see this type of price action, a lot of people will be like, oh crap, it's going up, and they'll buy here or somewhere over here, and it just ends up dropping on them. So right now it's past the VWAP, or the volume adjusted price action, if you will. So there is a chance for it to go back up. It's probably just going to keep bouncing off the 20 EMA for this one. But this is intraday, so it's not very reliable in terms of swing trading or investment type of trading. So like I said, right here, God, if I can get this to work. There we go. So it did end up bouncing off of this trend line right here. Let me show you. Did end up bouncing off of this trend line. And you kind of have a buy signal right here, but yesterday I said that if a real buy signal would be it being closing above 1017. In other words, above the opening of this candle, which is 3 days ago. On, what is that, Tuesday? Yeah. So basically all I'm looking for is a confirmation of big volume. If it's got a lot of volume and it closes above 1017, then that's your buy signal. Next point of resistance is is just about right here, mainly because the price per volume is fairly high, making it a little bit more significant right here. But if it does manage to bust through that, which it probably will, just based on social media and everything that's going on with it, then your next point of resistance is going to be around 1125 up until this region. And if it does manage to go through this next resistance, then all the better, and I foresee it going past this, especially with the new Ryzen CPU coming out. Okay, right here I just want to point out OCLR again, and I'm pointing this out mainly because this oversold region at the support line made it pretty enticing to buy, but I don't buy just because it's oversold for whatever reason. See, like yesterday the RSI was near that 40 line, which makes it relatively undervalued. But they just came out with some news and the price went up, and again, FOMO. So this is why I don't trade the early 30 minutes right here. You can see that it went up. People probably thought it was going to go back and keep going or something. So, fear of missing out. People end up buying, and then it goes back down just because that's usually what ends up happening with gap ups. So, just monitor this one. If it does end up closing below this support line, then it will probably continue to go back down. But with the news that just came out, I would consider it an upgrade, and it will probably end up moving up till 1009 rather. this little region, just because that's recent history for that resistance. ENDP again, I'm just giving y'all some updates here. On January 5th, I believe, yeah, on January 5th, Citigroup gave or transferred this from a buy to a neutral, which kind of makes sense, just this movement that is doing. So right here you got that resistance that I set at roughly where it's at right now, 12.98 or something. You got that psychological level, that price, those whole dollars, those are always psychologicals. So let me just move this to linear so I can move this. I can see this better. But all I'm doing is I'm waiting on this to, God, Fidelity sucks. Anyway, to move up past this resistance line so that it does a rebound, if you will, and move back up past the 1396 to make a move towards 1817, because that profit margin is roughly what? Oh, whoops. It's got to be a pretty good profit margin, especially if it passes through this. So yeah, roughly 27%. Now bear in mind this is on a perfect trade. Well, perfect trade would be off of the 13, but we'll see. If it stays above the 13 psychological, then there is a chance for it to come back up. So OZM is another one that I was looking at. I was really hoping for it to come back down to this price, 278, to increase the profit margin, but it did end up going back up. I did set a buy signal here early that morning just because of the way that it was acting. So if I did end up buying, I'd be still positive. But, this is paper trading. Just, this is a good way to track, your performance and whatnot without risking your dollar. But it kind of seems like the price action is sticking towards the open, which could be a sign of a reversal if it does close looking like a doji candle. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly what it does. I'm hoping for it to either go back down to this price, which could be next week or whatever, or hit this and turn into a momentum trade going right back up to the 200 estimated moving average, which is a pretty solid buy signal for long-term investors, which could send the whole stock soaring back up towards a overall positive movement. And FH, very similar to the other one. I'm keeping close to the support line right here. I'm just waiting for it to give me a confirmation candle, especially with this doji right here. This doji candle may suggest that, first, doji just means market uncertainty, and in combination with this candle and this candle, it could show an upward trend. But given the fact that it did go down to 205, means that this trend line, if you will, God, if I can get my freaking hand on it. Whatever. It does open up the wedge pattern slightly, so it does have the possibility of moving back down, but with the recent price action being so, volatile in this region, it could do pretty much anything. So that's why I always stick to the wait and see. I do end up missing a few because of that, but it's better to play it safe and keep your win averages high. If it does end up passing the 200 EMA, same as the last one, it is a buy signal, especially if it confirms it by going up, over, back down, and bouncing off of it for, if you would, like a teacup and handle kind of formation. So we'll just have to wait and see what it does. Just do keep in mind it's the morning. Okay, I just want to show y'all an IHD. An IHD is very similar to a high and tight flag signal, and if you're not familiar with that, that's when the stock moves in price action up 90% within a 2-month period. So as you can see, this one is it went from about $1.70 to 337 roughly, just in that region. Now currently it's at about 305, but I'm waiting for it to come back up to this region. And see right here, we got a loose pennant right here where it's there's a consolidation period followed closely with a fast moving price action over a couple of days and then more consolidation. So the third one, generally speaking, isn't always good, especially on a loose pennant. But in combination with the 200 EMA, I'm hoping that we'll get a just faster price action towards the positive. With it being so inexpensive, your price margin, your profit margins could increase substantially. So I'm looking at just NIHD. I've got another one in mind I'll show you all here in a second. But the statistics on this kind of flag is where the average rise is about 51%. I don't foresee this going crazy like that, just because the loose pennants tend to perform a little worse at 40% rather than the 53% of a tight pennant. So we'll just have to wait and see. If this does end up being more than 19 days, I'm just gonna forget about it, because I'm sticking to the 5 to 19 day long pennant consolidation period for to get that statistical significance on it. So if it doesn't manage to break through this trend line in combination with the 200 EMA, then I'm just gonna forget it and just play it as a normal type of stock movement for a technical analysis basis and stick with that. So keep this one in mind. I got another one to show you. Okay, WTI. One of the reasons why I'm showing y'all this one is because of the similarities between the last stock and this one. Fast climb, we got consolidation right here. X marks the spot, going back up, and the only reason why I'm not looking into purchasing this one is because these multiple dojis are suggesting a reversal in trend. So that reversal in trend is going to at least meet up with the 20 EMA, and we'll have to reassess and see if it bounces back or if it continues to go down. But with all these dojis decreasing volume or volatility right here, kind of suggesting a ceiling right here in development. So let me show you. So you got that downwards trend line. Come on. Anyway, you got that consolidation period right here. So the only way that it will continue to go back up is if it goes back down to the 20 EMA or meets this trend right here and starts going back up towards a more positive outlook. But in combination with the 200 EMA right here, like I said, the pennant consolidation right here with the combination of the 200 EMA is sending this stock at least for an acute uprise. So we got some profit taking here. So we'll just have to wait and see how it develops. But this one's not on my radar. I just want to show this as proof of concept rather. So again, this was a high and tight flag signal. This one not so good, but proving the combination of the 200 EMA.